Good morning, everybody. I am Mel Barrett.
My name is Rebecca Lavoie.
And welcome to Something's Off, a true crime podcast where we help raise $13,000 in an hour and a half for the First Amendment.
Don't call it Yanetti spillover. Don't call it Yanetti spillover. We can't take
That's what we do.
That's what we do. As a professional public radio fundraiser, it wasn't Yanetti spillover. It probably was, but that's okay.
It was us. $13,000. We had the biggest hour of the 12-hour fundraiser last night. If you don't know what we're talking about, it is the Aidan Carney, aka Turtleboy, First Amendment fundraiser, his legal defense, which raised over $80,000 in 12 hours last night?
Yes, more than $80,000 on a $50,000 goal. That's the kind of numbers I like to see.
Yes.
Sorry, I just put turn my car lights on back there. And I was very excited about it. It was ridiculously fun. It was also, I texted him about this. It was a good show. He did a good job producing the show. So there was like when he had lawyers on, he played the video. You know, he sort of like accounted for people who could just talk and then people who might need some prompts. Like he did a very, very good job producing it. I was very impressed.
He did. Do we know how the counter fundraiser went?
What counter? Oh, that one. I barely knew it existed, Mel. So no, I don't. Do you know how it went?
No.
Mel.
Yes.
Always be cutting me off. I love it. I mean, someone has to have that power.
You know what it reminds me of? Some of the like when I do things like that. Have you ever been on the control board of like a local like town hall public access television board?
No, but I used to live produce and direct a radio program where we had callers, and I used to just be like,
click.
Nope.
So I used to, for the town of Durham, New Hampshire, I was their control board operator for all of their live streaming. Well, it wasn't streaming back then, but it was their live town halls. And so I'd have to put the graphics up and I'd have to move the camera to whoever was speaking and blah, blah, blah. And it's very limited. And it used to be a keyboard that was like 5 feet long and the buttons were like this big. And you would just be like, cut to move this camera. And so I feel very much when I am getting ready to play our intro video that I'm back in my town hall public access broadcasting days.
One of my favorite things I got to do in my earlier career at NHPR, I used to be a digital director, which was an executive job, but I was the only person who knew how to do a bunch of digital things. So one of the things I would do is I would run the cameras, the multi-switch cameras for our political debates and forums and stuff. And after COVID, I was no longer, I don't know if I had that job, but I was still the only one who knew how to do it. So we had to put all the candidates in separate studios during COVID. So we had one camera, like in one studio, one camera in another studio. And I very quickly learned the best footage you could get. This is just for Facebook Live, like 200 people watching.
Yeah.
Was the cutaway shots of the person listening when their opponent was talking. I would just put them on the screen for like 15 seconds and they'd be like,
yes. Good times.
The best.
We love a live to what is it? Live to tape, I guess.
Yeah. I love live produced. It's like a tight wire, a tightrope act. I love live produced things. It's one of the reasons why I still watch SNL after all these years. It's like the talent it takes to do something, not even just for the performers, but for the people who have to do the tech of it live. It's kind of amazing and kind of like, I don't know, I always think it's amazing no matter what I'm doing for work. So anyway.
Did you, what was I going to ask you? Did you see this last Saturday Night Live when Will Ferrell played Epstein?
I did.
That was pretty good. Yes. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yes. He's very good at his job, Will Ferrell.
We have a shit ton of stuff to talk about today. So we should probably, let's get through housekeeping real quick. And
move on from the chitter chatter.
I know. So but it's not just that. Like I will chitter chat all day. We just have so much to talk about. There's like a lot of detail and I don't even think we're going to cover it. We're not going to probably be able to cover it all in this episode. We're going to have to do another episode. And just for schedule stuff that we have going on, as you guys know, we do our streams twice on Mondays. So obviously this is our regular Something's Off stream. Today we're going to be talking about the ARCCA report and the gigantic filing that just was made by Karen Reed's legal team against the Haas defendants, and the car auction and Murdoch, and just there's so and then obviously some of the news that David Yanetti made last night on the fundraiser, which was really interesting. So we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. But tonight we're going to be back at 5 p.m. and I'm really excited because we're going to be doing another round of Rebecca drinking out of the parrot cup, and a new little series that I'm calling Cross Roast with Mel and Rebecca, which is basically we're going to be taking testimony from trials 1 and trial 2, and maybe even other things like other trials. Maybe I'll find some other fun stuff. But testimony like Jen McCabe's testimony, Brian Higgins' testimony, that kind of stuff. And we're going to make Rebecca watch it. And we're going to try to make her a little uncomfortable.
It makes me so uncomfortable. Hold on. I got to cover my thermostat. That's making me crazy. Hold on.
I can't see it. Oh,
I can't.
That's just you.
Oh, so much better. Also, the light,
So
I have a
much
little
better.
light pointed at the side, and now the light is the right angle. So yeah, I am so excited to watch videos. I can't, things that make me uncomfortable, I have a very hard time watching on my own. I just get the douche chills. I want to curl up into a little ball and stop. But when I'm doing it with somebody, like I was just telling Mel before we started taping, this morning I was listening to Jimmy talk about the Nan and Meredith stream, which I could not listen to by myself. I would want to die. But listening to it with somebody else who's giving me like some levity, some breaks from the craze, like
that's me. That'll be me. Oh, by the way, if Pamabo is in the chat, I got my cup. Thank you.
That's so nice. That's so nice. I have 2 people I need to thank, but I don't know who they are. And that is terrifying to me. 2 of you sent me 2 very big items from my Amazon wish list, or maybe one of you did. Maybe it is Mackenzie Bezos. Who knows? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One of you sent me like this. So my whole wish list, aside from the occasional Taco Bell taco sauce and whatever, and your beer, my whole wish list is literally things I would love to have, but cannot afford to buy. And it's really aspirational, kind of a joke for me, but also fun. And I really appreciate, one of you sent me the small Blackstone grill, which we used last night to make smash burgers. It was incredible. And one of you sent,
I am so jealous.
It's on your list too. Whoever sent me that should send that to Mel. And someone says the call is coming from inside the house. No, Kevin and I are not in buying mode. Let's just put it that way. We are not in buying mode at this point in our lives.
Same.
At this point in our employment situation, there's no buying of fun things going on. And one of you sent me this Ninja frozen drink machine, which is so fun. It's not just for alcohol.
So on brand.
You can, you know how you make milkshakes in this thing, Mel? You put in fucking milk because there's no ice involved. It's just like this swirling cylinder. You plug it, swirling cylinder. You put in milk. I haven't made a milkshake because I'm lactose intolerant, but it's like it just turns a warm thing into a frozen thing with no ice. It's incredible. So I will be using that
just
tonight.
Like my heart.
Yes, I'll be using that tonight for our cross roast series. I will be pulling out the parrot, making something frozen, and watching whatever the fuck you want me to watch. And I just can't thank. And if those 2 people, can you please write to the show and identify yourselves? I'd love to give you a proper thank you, make you a sponsor of an episode. Yes, I really appreciate it. It's really made my weekend, and it's been a rough couple of weeks around here for us in terms of our employment situation. So it just really made my day, and I completely unexpected makes it so much better. So thank you.
Yeah. And honestly, like when I get little Amazon packages, the idea that you guys are thinking about us, I think is what really makes my day as well. I got a duvet cover was sent to me by TC Nerd, and it's beautiful and we love it. Thank you.
I love a duvet cover.
I do too. It's really funny to me. I was trying to find, there was a tweet that I put out and one of the crazy people responded to it. And, I think it was the pink gray lady. I can't remember, but they were basically like, Rebecca hates you and she's always being condescending to you and you don't even know it. And you support Turtleboy and blah, blah, blah. And you're just taking all this shit so you can make money. And I'm like, who's making money?
I know.
Like, I'm not, I mean, like, yeah, we make a little bit of money that we split and we use it to like supplement and help our, like it's our career, but I'm not making enough money to live off of this show by
Can
any
you
means.
imagine if we went on Turtleboy's stream as a money-making effort? We'd be so disappointed.
Yeah.
I'd
Because
be
I
so
think
disappointed. We did not make any. He's not giving us a commission on the
no,
$13,000. We definitely on our own raised
totally
along with
raised
Baker
for
in
him.
that hour and a half. No commission, no nothing. It's not about the
Yeah.
money. It's not about the clout. It's about joy. It's about defense of the First Amendment. And it is frankly about communing with a group of people, some of whom are very different than we are.
Look at you.
Oh, I'm a tragedy vulture.
Tragedy vulture.
And just we're thriving. I mean, as I said last night, I said the same thing to Joey when I was on his their show. I taped a show with them on Friday, I guess, with Joey Turano. And I was just like, sometimes you're on the side of a cause and you find yourself at the beginning thinking like, man, I really hope I'm choosing well here because it feels right. It feels like it's in alignment with my general values, but also it feels very foreign to me in many, many ways.
Yeah.
And I now have had 2 of these in a row where I have been on the side where everybody is thriving.
Yes.
And the folks on the other side, not thriving in any way.
Also, let me just, before I talk about this tweet really quickly, Liz, thank you so much for the $5. And Rebecca, this is for your donuts. I just want to say to the chat, I know that a lot of you are like having fun and you're going with a theme here, but can we just stop talking about what people eat? Everybody in this world is so different, and like you can't tell everybody to eat the same thing. So let's just stop telling people what to eat, please. I'm begging you. Okay,
not just in this chat, in life.
No, in life. Like you shouldn't be going around telling people what to eat unless you have looked at their medical records.
Speaking of which, one weird thing about the Nan thing is that she's one of these people who's like lost a ton of weight and is obsessed with telling people that she did it, quote, the natural way. You go fuck all the way off downtown, Nan. That's ridiculous. It's a ridiculously awful, hypocritical thing to say. Whether it's true or not, I don't care. But sort of implying that anybody who loses weight anyway, the way the hell they want is somehow doing it, quote, wrong. That is what is wrong with this culture.
What's really interesting to me about these sort of like GLP-1 versus, the normal natural way.
You mean the eating disorder way?
Well, no, it's not even that. It's that it's an industry that's been built on people telling you how to lose weight, how to gain muscle, how to do this, how to get in the gym, eat this many proteins, eat this many carbs, eat this, track your macros, blah, blah, blah. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it doesn't work for everybody, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. And so the idea that they're so pissed off about the GLP-1s, which are working for people who have struggled for a long time, sometimes, the reason why we're seeing like sort of negative responses to the GLP-1s is because it's hurting an industry. It's showing you this industry that's made billions of dollars off of you.
Right.
And there's also, like
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished with your sentence. No,
I was pretty much finished.
It's also got people off their moral. There's a whole thing about fat being morally inferior, and it's gotten people to the point where they can no longer feel morally superior because they can no longer just look around a room and tell who they're quote better than. You know what I mean? I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's a real equalizer. I love it. Anyway, so I am a tragedy vulture. I'm thinking about getting that as a shirt. Perhaps.
I think you should. I mean, and that screenshot is actually, you look really pretty in that screenshot. You should do that. And I like that you're like pointing up, like I'm number one.
Like that's me, tragedy vulture.
And so Earl Pink Crying Lady Gray, who loves to troll Becky, said, this is in response to me saying, hey, Turtle Boy, thanks for having us on. I hope you get what you need to fight. And that's it. That's all I said. Because many people established yesterday during the fundraiser that, especially some of the lawyers, David Yanetti, Brothers Counsel in their segment, all of these people came on and they said, I don't have to agree with you to believe in the First Amendment. And that's why I'm here. And the thing is, like, so many people were there to be like, this is our First Amendment. Turtleboy is being persecuted for doing the same thing that Ted Daniel does, but he works for a corporation.
Well, he's also being persecuted for being successful.
Yes.
For being profane, for
Yes.
being all the things that he is. One of my favorite segments of the show right at the beginning where it was Brother Counsel and Brother Counsel's Brother Counsel. I don't know if you saw them.
I saw parts
they were
of it,
so measured, and they're such interesting people. I mean, the sort of civil rights. Well, this was a theme throughout the day, but there's a lot of civil rights talk, which I love. A lot of Constitution talk, a lot of civil rights talk.
Yes.
And Brother Counsel and Brother Counsel's brother were basically like, you know, and then also the other guy who came on with them, who's the guy who has the podcast with Linda Kenny Bodden, Mike something. This is a great segment because it's basically like, when something's been taken away, you will never get it back. And this is something that, you know, as a 52-year-old woman who's literally only seen my personal civil rights, you know, woe is me, I'm fine compared to a lot of people in the world, but I've seen my personal rights be degraded as I've gotten. There's never been progress for somebody in my specific demographic in my whole lifetime. There's never been. Even like the Equal Rights Amendment hasn't passed, you know, Roe was overturned, you know. I was born the year before women were allowed to have their own checking accounts or get loans on their own without husband signing or dad signing off for you. And I would be 0% surprised in my lifetime if that right also went back a step. That was after Roe, by the way, that happened, where women had the right to do banking independently. And so I can tell you from my own perspective in my life, that is 100% true. It's like 2 steps forward, 8 steps back, 2 steps forward, 9 steps back. So it is really important that as long as the Massachusetts state legislature does not change this particular witness intimidation statute, which is in place in Massachusetts, which does allow for butthurt feelings to be taken into account when deciding if somebody is intimidating a witness. It's incredibly important to stand up, not just for Turtleboy, but against that. So, you know, I will say, is Alex Jones a piece of shit? Yes. Should he have been held civilly liable for the things he said about Sandy Hook? 100%. Is it because he doesn't have the constitutional right to say that? No. It's like you can have consequences, but your rights are intact. And it's like, I have very, very strong feelings about this. I feel very strongly about this cause. Watching that body cam footage of Turtleboy being arrested, watching the Alberts go to that police station that day that other guy was sort of, he was following that other mass accountability guy around. These are folks who are trying on purpose to degrade our civil rights to protect themselves and protect the institution. And I feel so strongly about this. And I was so comfortable and happy participating in that fundraiser yesterday, especially going after my next husband, David Yanetti, who said some incredible things along the same lines. And I'm just, I'm very proud to be a part of that crew. I really, really am.
Agreed.
Doesn't mean I condone stuff. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean, I mean, it's like,
think about Larry Flint.
Right. Exactly. What a gross guy that was, huh?
What a disgusting piece of shit he was. But I completely am behind his First Amendment rights. Can I just say something really quickly?
Please.
Be kind. I'm addressing somebody in the chat who keeps talking to you about what you eat. I asked very nicely to stop talking about what Rebecca eats, and you have decided to continue doing that. And not only did you do that, but you also brought Kevin into it and made it sound like Kevin is Rebecca's keeper, which is totally sexist. So just an FYI, I'm putting you in timeout.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
Timeout. What does timeout do? It makes it so they can't comment, but they can still watch?
Never. I don't care.
We don't know.
I don't know. But fuck off.
My favorite, by the way, is people who send like that guy with King Proctor on Twitter.
Yeah.
Who called you the dumbest, most base, stupid insult, the R word, and he couldn't spell it properly.
It was so funny. It was
so apparently you're retired. You know,
I'm retired. I'm retired.
You're retired.
So anyway, I had posted this thing about like, hey, thanks for letting us come in, and I hope you get enough money to go fight. And Earl Grey is like, you and Becky have no shame.
We don't.
On top of that, Becky is consistently rude and dismissive to you. I don't think you are, but maybe you guys can tell me if she is. I don't think
I
she
get
is.
that a lot. Honestly, I get that about Laura Bricker too.
I think
So
it's
I think there's something to it.
honestly, I think it's you're dry sometimes. And I think that people don't understand dry humor or the way that like you are. I always think of you as somebody who's willing to stand up for yourself and other people. And so like I think about so the rundown which came out today, you know, you and Joey started talking about the rundown is I think Not's true crime weekly rundown podcast that comes out on Mondays. I edit it sometimes. Rebecca was a special guest yesterday because Ellen is on vacation. And she was on with Joey. They were talking about Corey Richins and they were also talking about Alec Murdoch. And you know, they went into the segment about Corey Richins, and I think that most people would expect you to be on the same page with them that Corey Richins is guilty as fuck and blah, blah, blah. Your first instinct was to say, I'm going to say something that's really unpopular, and that is, I hate victim impact statements. And you went on to describe your, you know, why you think that way. And I think it's really difficult sometimes for people in general and women. Well, I would say women in general, people all together to stand up for themselves when they have an opinion that is maybe doesn't go with the masses. And so I think often when you are like, no, I believe this, or I think this, or your ADHD wants to interrupt me, which mine does too. I think that people read it as dismissive and it's not. And so anyway, but my favorite part about this comment is that it's sad that they said it's sad that you tolerate both her and Aiden in order to make money. And I thought that was fucking hilarious because I'm like,
bring it,
where?
bring the money.
Wait, I'm making money?
Bring it.
Please,
if there can be money.
Shit. You think I'm making it? Oh yeah. And then yes, and then you were talking about this was Broken Baker's response to what you were just talking about. No regrets, one of my favorite memes. But basically, yeah, this King Proctor bozo said that I have zero talent and it's embarrassing, which is fine.
Mel, you must be so embarrassed about your lack of talent. Are you embarrassed?
Yeah, and I am sometimes very embarrassed about how shitty I am. And why am I doing this? Why the fuck am I doing this? And I was like, well, as long as I'm being critiqued by an expert. And I didn't mean it to say that they were embarrassing or that they had zero talent. I was just like, so just randos are just critiquing me. Thanks for letting me know. Don't really care. And King Proctor said, retired could criticize you, LOL.
Retired, yes.
And Rebecca, oh, what now? A retired. No regrets. So yesterday when we decided to when we did this fundraiser with Aiden, we got a lot of shit for it. The interesting thing, we brought this up a few times in the fundraiser. Rebecca started up, this is part of our housekeeping, by the way. Rebecca started up the Something's Off podcast Twitter, because we each have our own individual Twitter but we didn't have a show Twitter. So she started one up. And obviously when you're starting up Twitter, it takes a while to like, you know, build an audience, whatever. So we only had like 350 or so Twitter followers. And Rebecca tweeted this thing the other day that was like, I'm beginning to think that Berkowitz knew, you know, and it's just like, it's funny and it's obvious. And that one tweet caused a friggin' Twitter uproar over an account that has 350 Twitter followers. Like,
hey, we're crushing it today, girl. We got 720 now.
I know, we doubled it. I don't know what happened. It must have been the fundraiser, but all the antis came out and started attacking us, and like they're all being crazy. Mama Llama, like you hit a nerve, I think, with her.
We also got Meredith in our pool with her Kyle Sharkey bitch account. She used to go back to stealing keys and leaving us alone. So
she was like, I'm not Meredith. I'm not Meredith, Rebecca. I'm not Meredith.
When isn't exactly what Meredith would say.
Yeah.
I think the common denominator here is that there's a humorlessness that I don't think folks without humor can kind of like relate to people who are joyful in their lives. I think it's tough. And I get it. I mean, I wouldn't be joyful either if I made the world's worst podcast. I would also not be joyful. I would be very embarrassed for myself. I would be, can I afford to hire a producer? Maybe get a microphone. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not do a 4-box Brady Bunch thing where someone's always dark and it's just a squawking head. I don't know. I would also not be joyful. But we
But
make
doesn't
a
it,
great
doesn't it
podcast.
feel
so I am
uncomfortable?
joyful.
Like when it's happening, it feels uncomfortable. You have to know that that feeling is existing for a reason. It's because something is off. Oh,
I see what you did there, girl.
see what I did there? So like when you have that feeling, when you're making a podcast and it feels weird, like explore that. Explore it with your friends, maybe not on Spaces. I mean,
if listening to your own podcast makes you dry, then perhaps something.
I mean, listening to this podcast does not make me wet. I will tell you that much. It's just, that's weird.
Well, it doesn't make you actively dry, though.
Blood
That's true. But does it make you actively? Does it make you like actively dry? Does it make you less dry?
Okay, I don't know if I want to talk about this anymore.
Face.
Is that the dog or Kevin? Like, is the dog embarrassed for us at this point?
I'm getting close from the kitchen. He just did the Rockefeller sign, which I don't think that's what he meant by it. But
isn't that the
Illuminati?
Yeah, Illuminati.
Yeah, that's what the sign of Rockefeller.
You know what's gonna happen now? Everyone's gonna like take screenshots of this and be like, Mel and Rebecca are Illuminati.
I've always wanted to see what it's like inside that club. Always.
Oh man, me too. I love those. Like, what were they called? What are they called? The one that George W. Bush is in.
The Masons.
What are they called?
The Freemasons.
No, not the Masons.
The Skull and Bones.
Yeah, the Skull and Bones. I've always wanted to know about
the
Skull
Yale
and
Club.
Bones.
Me too.
Oh
me too,
God.
man.
Yeah.
It's just Illuminati with the preppy shirts or whatever.
I know. All right, let's. I think did we cover everything? We got
business choice. Send us tips. Check out our Amazon wish list. Someone buy Mel something nice from the Amazon wish list. And
people have been buying me some nice stuff. Let's not get it twisted. I've been getting a lot of really sweet little gifts, and I appreciate it. Yeah.
Go become a member of this channel. And tonight you can watch me get drunk while Mel makes me watch some testimony from one of 3 bald people. And I don't know which one it's going to be yet. So
yeah. And I think at some point I am going to make you listen to the Nan Spaces.
Oh God.
It's too bad their faces aren't on the screen. I really wish their faces were on the screen, but they're not.
I am not kidding. I have a policy on our other podcast, Crime Writers, to not talk about women's voices or the manner in which women speak.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's like she's got Chat GPT inside her body forming the words. She definitely says vehicle instead of car. 100%.
Have you ever heard her say vagina? I can't recreate it. You have to go listen to it.
Did she give it an extra syllable or something?
I think it's like vagina or something like that. It's very strange. Vagina. I don't know why she's saying it so much, but it definitely sticks out in my head. I've heard her say it.
She's probably conscious of it because making her own thing is making her dry. That's why.
I never thought of the concept of like the work I do getting me all turned on. It doesn't make that's weird to me. Anyway, we're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. And by close, I mean like 1,400 away.
We can do it.
So
I'm telling you, if 20% of the people watching our part of the fundraiser yesterday who are not already subscribers, if 20% of those people who liked us subscribe to this channel, we will be at 10,000 like today.
Yeah.
So sell it. So please tell your friends to subscribe, share, like this video, subscribe if you aren't, tell people on Reddit, tell people on social media, wherever you are, just be like, there's some gals. One of them is a lipstick lesbian. One of them is a chapstick lesbian.
Since someone has called me a gal, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Because you're a boy, right? That's what
I'm not a boy. I'm not a boy either.
According to Twitter, according to Meredith, Meredith says you're a boy. And
and also go follow our new Twitter page. Look, it says we're live because we're live on Twitter as well.
I forgot that we're live on Twitter.
I know.
We're just like taunting the people who are actually in this feed right now.
Oh, great. Anyway,
hey there, Kyle, whatever, Kyle
Sharkey.
You are 100% Meredith O'Neill, and you know you are, and you are doing some love trapped bullshit right now, and you need to knock that shit off. It's embarrassing. Or just go steal some peas.
I just noticed I look really tan.
Not as tan as Melanie Little.
Well, okay, here's the crazy thing. When I was in Scotland, it was like so sunny that I was actually getting sunburn on my face,
Love that.
even though it was kind of chilly. Also, we've moved our tennis outside since the weather is nice here. And also, it's going to be 94 to 98 degrees over the next 3 days here, and I am going to be sweltering, and I'm supposed to be playing tennis. But anyway, I'm feeling a little bit tan. I don't usually get tan. It takes a few days, but here we are. Oh my God, wait, I have to can I show one thing right now?
Yes.
Rebecca, it's
Yes.
going to make you feel very uncomfortable, but
Oh no.
let me find it. It's somebody in the chat just reminded me of it.
Do I need to hydrate?
And I don't know if you even know about this yet. You need to hydrate because it is one of the cringiest things.
No, I'm not talking
I
about
have
Kyle Sharkey.
ever-
I'm talking about Kyle Sharkey bitch.
You said Child Karky.
Kyle Sharkey bitch is the Meredith account.
Child
pretending-
Karky.
Yeah, Kyle Sharkey is amazing. Kyle Karky.
Child Karky.
Mile Markey.
Okay. I got to find this. You got to keep talking because this is so important.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me just,
This is
first
so
of all,
important.
this is not substantive, but while you're looking for this, David
Yeah.
Yanetti looked so
Yes.
cute yesterday.
He really did.
He was wearing his little like Under Armour workout shirt. You know, he had just
Yeah.
been for some sort of power walk or run situation. He was talking about Queen Melanie. I am certain that Melanie Little is hated by these people because she's successful, smart, and because she legit looks like she just came back from the beach all the time. So, you know, she makes time for herself. She goes on
Yes.
vacations.
She sure does.
She's just a lovely, smart, measured person who is very successful in our space. I have nothing but admiration for her. And I'm, you know, she's the kind of, she can do something Mel and I can't do and be really successful. She can go on the internet alone for 10 hours and just talk.
I've tried it. It's hard.
But she's I mean, not every kind of content is for everybody to make. And like, she doesn't have a partner. She doesn't bounce off people. It's just her. She engages with her chat so beautifully. She runs her channel so professionally and well, and she always looks great. And she's very open about setting boundaries around her work versus personal. Someone just said that she prioritizes her family too. That's all the stuff I admire. I've always felt very strongly about boundaries. I've always felt strongly about like the parasocial thing being real, it being real relationships, it being good. But like, you get 80% of me, you don't get 100%. She's great at that. Like so I think that's why she's hated but Yanetti, big fan, his paralegal, big fan, his mother and sister, big fans.
Well, I said this yesterday. One of the reasons why Nan is going after her so hard is that I mean, you said it too. I really think that Nan desperately wants to be her. And I also think that she's really pissed off because Melanie made this comment months ago.
Yeah.
About the night that Aiden Carney was yelling at the D&E pizza window. He was with several people. Meredith and Nan were both there. And Melanie Little had said something in her stream along the lines of, Nan purports to be a lawyer. If I had been there with him as his friend and as a lawyer, I would have stopped him from doing what he was doing.
She filmed it. She didn't just not stop it. She made content out of it. She doesn't have like whatever. She wasn't his lawyer. She didn't have ethical obligations, whatever. But she does. I mean, she's not a real person. Like, she's a horrible person. It's so like, I don't know her, but like, listening to 5 minutes from her stream on Jimmy's stream, because I can only do it in a meta way. Not a good person. Not a good person.
No.
Like, on the one hand, it's like, I shouldn't have fat shamed Jessica Machado, but perhaps if Jessica Machado weren't eating biscuits from Chick-fil-A for breakfast, that wouldn't be anything to fat shame.
God, the gaslighting. Okay, I'm having a really hard time finding this video. I'm just going to shout it out to the chat. If anybody has a link for Meredith O'Neill and the singing that she does.
I saw it. And
she's being serious, Rebecca. She's being fucking serious.
I saw it. I heard it. I got dry. It was really bad.
Did you see?
We have to find it.
I know. I'm trying. I feel like it's been taken off the internet. I don't understand this. Somebody send me the link.
I bet
please.
Jimmy has it. I bet Jimmy downloaded it.
Because in the comments, she also, in the comment for the video, she also says she's going to make a music video and she's looking for production people.
She
Like,
said she
she's
has
being
a producer.
fucking serious.
Can you
I'm
imagine?
freak the fuck out. Who is out there taking advantage of this poor sick woman and being like, yeah, give me your money. I'll make a music video for you. This is really good. Like, that's terrifying to me. Hey, Mini Bear, thanks for becoming a new member. Love it. Yeah. So wait, the Glare also had it. He wouldn't. I can't. The thing is, I can't find it. I went on. It's on Twitter. She put it on Twitter.
I
Like,
saw.
and
I
I can't
saw.
find it.
I
Somebody's
couldn't
got to
believe
send
it
it
was
to me.
real. I know.
Can you
Somebody.
text Jimmy?
Yeah,
Will you
hold
text
on.
Jimmy
He's probably
and ask
sleeping,
him?
but I will text him.
Oh, that's true. It's like 9:00 in the morning.
I'm going to send him a note anyway. I sent him a note yesterday after he said that we only raised a lot of money because it was residual Yanetti. I was like,
Yeah,
go
fuck off
yourself, Jimmy.
What are you talking about, Jimmy?
Just let us have
Whose
it.
side are you on?
Even if it's true, just let us have it. Just let us have this one thing. Hold on. Let's see. Do you by any chance?
This Rebecca lady is trash, somebody said.
Yes, I am.
Why?
Wait, who said that?
I don't know. Misnomer?
Do you by
Why
any
are they
chance have
saying that?
the Meredith
Oh,
singing video?
it's in response to you posting the counter fundraiser when you said we didn't think this was real. And then Ms. Nomer said, this Rebecca lady is trash.
Oh, yeah.
You trash. You trash. You wrong.
I am trash.
I cannot wait to watch the Higgins testimony with you. I cannot fucking wait. Especially the part where he's reading the text messages. It's gonna be
I can't.
Fucking beautiful.
Okay. So I watched it during trial 1 and I didn't have the full feeling of discomfort I would have now watching it because I didn't fully understand what it meant in the moment. As even Aiden said, that was the first he knew about Karen and Higgins macking and having a relationship, right? So at the time I was like, this is weird. This is uncomfortable. This is whatever. Now that I know what I know, I am not going to be able to watch that unless you force me while I'm drinking.
Okay, well, now that you know what you know, we're watching it. We're not watching it tonight. It's not one of the 3. But oh wait, is it called Unafraid? Is that what it is?
Yes, maybe. Because it's a parody of that song, Somebody That I Used to Know.
That's what it is. Oh my God, it was so I hate, like, I don't know. I hate making fun of people, but this freaks me out that she is like serious about this, right? Okay, so it's called Unafraid. Unafraid. Let me see if I can find it that way. Unafraid. Oh my God.
People, I'm telling you, if folks don't know what we're talking about and you're getting frustrated because it's taking us so long to find it.
Ms. Nomer is one of our fans. I totally thought she was saying that you were a trashy person. She wasn't. Or they. I don't know. I don't know if Ms. Nomer
they said I was a trashy person on the other fundraiser.
They did. They said that lady is trash.
I've made it.
I go by Steph Yo said, and that Rebecca lady sitting there agreeing and suggesting that Marcy's law is BS. Oh shit. And other laws with people's name in them are bullshit laws. She is trash.
I'm trash.
Sorry, Ms. Nomer. Ms. Nomer, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that lady, she's weird. She's the one that they call Marlboro something, but she's like my favorite part of the Nan stream. She comes on. So she's become friends with Nan because Nan probably gives her like a shit ton of money like Nan does. And you know that's her weird thing, right? Do you know that, Rebecca?
Yes, that she comes in and she gives $500.
Like $4.99, I think it is. Like $499. She does it to Melanie Little all the time.
Like in her super chat.
And she'll say something shitty about Melanie. And it's just like, you just gave her $500. That's so insane.
We need to have a $500 level super chat. See if she comes in. I'll take it.
I'll say whatever the fuck. I'll say whatever the fuck you want me to say.
Did you see Allie and Bob on last night?
I didn't catch them. I haven't seen it yet.
I know we met them the one time briefly. Yeah. I really think that we would hit it off with them. We're
going to have them on now that we're all back.
She has an incredible broadcast voice. I love her voice.
Yes, she does.
Second, her hair is very shiny in a way that I super appreciate.
It's very sexy, her voice.
And I love how they just order food and eat during their live
I know
streams.
you
it's
do. I know.
Fucking best.
Okay,
I was
you guys
right
doing
before
the
we came
bingo
on.
cards? Are you guys doing the bingo cards? Because Rebecca has said this before a few times and she loves it.
I do. I do love it. I do love it. It's like, oh, the pizza's here. I'm going to go off camera for 5 minutes and now it's like, I was eating a waffle with peanut butter on it before I started. I was like, okay, don't start the stream. Thanks for waiting for
From
me.
your
'Cause I'm like,
new waffle machine that you got from the Amazon wish list.
yes, I did thank that person because that did come with a note, but the other ones didn't.
Yeah, some of mine have come with notes. Ash and Sugar, thank you for becoming a member. And Honey Kid, 6 months.
Congratulations.
Isn't that
You're
as
an
long as
OG.
that's as long as
OG.
we've been here, right?
OG member.
I think that's it. And then I think also I changed up all of so when you become a member, like all the membership levels, like however long you've been a member, your little icon changes. So I think that you get a different one for 6 months. That's pretty exciting. Did you know I did that? You probably
What's that? You became a member for 6 months?
What
did you do? You said I did what?
I changed the icons forever. So it's a part of our membership package. Like,
oh, I love that.
When you are here for a month or 3 months or 2 months or, oh shit, you found it? Where? Chicago found it. Hold on. I gotta find it. I love Chicago's little AI cartoon photo. Mel, the link is above. I found it. Sorry, I missed it. God, the chat is moving quicker than I expected.
It's because there's people here.
I know. I love it. We have about as many people in here as the counter fundraiser had yesterday. Slightly more, I think.
What counter fundraiser? That was real?
Mel
I still don't think it was real.
Engaging. Mel, you nail your solo sessions. Oh, that's very sweet. Thanks, Jody. That. I can't find the link. I'm so sorry. Can you post it again?
Just email it to us at somethingsoffpod@gmail.com.
No link in the chat. Go like. Yeah, I really want to play this. I'm not the one who gets uncomfortable. I mean, sometimes I do. And I had to stop listening. I had to shut this off because I was like, I really feel bad for her. Right?
Meredith?
Yeah.
You feel bad for Meredith?
I do. I think there's something wrong there.
I do globally. Personally, not so much.
Globally?
Because
not.
Here's why.
Okay.
I'm able to step back, sort of like the Lower Owens thing. I'm able to step back 20 feet and say, that's fucked up. That person has issues. I'm able to step forward 10 feet and be like, yeah, that's fucked up. That person has issues. But we also know that they are capable of doing better and making good choices sometimes. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a person in the world with a house and a car and a whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I can actually answer this.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to address this because it's not, we're not condoning anything.
Right.
What we are doing is standing up for the First Amendment, in my opinion. That's what I'm doing.
But they want to know what we wouldn't condone. I don't like it when Turtleboy, for no reason, makes a trans joke or talks about, he uses really racially charged language. Like he said some things about Jessica Hyde, who I also hate, by the way, that were unnecessary. And to me, and they just sort of like take away from, he can be so funny and so pointed and be so right on. But then when it goes to like Islamophobic stuff or whatever, it's like, that's not necessary. It actually makes it less funny. And I know that he's in the moment, just like sort of digging in and playing a character, but like, it's the same thing. I'm a huge Howard Stern fan, as you know. I'm not a huge fan of like putting women on a giant vibrator and having them do orgasms for men's entertainment in the studio. Still a huge fan of the show. I think he's very good at what he does, and he doesn't do that anymore, but he used to. That's when I said I don't condone. I just think that like it's possible to be hilarious without using a specific phrase that ends with the word head. So all right, so
I can't do anymore.
One thing that I'll say about this, first of all, it's bad singing and a bad choice of song. There goes my criticism and commentary, poorly produced, horribly out of tune, all that stuff. Oh, and also the affectations of trying to add like the vocal grind, like the Anyway, it's really bad, really, really bad criticism and commentary. That being said, it's not even funny. No. You know when people that you are like not aligned with do something and you gotta be like, all right, at least that was funny. Like, good joke, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at least you got to give them points for the on its face cleverness, even if it hurts your feelings or whatever. Like, that isn't even fun. Like there's nothing clever about it. That makes it sad. It makes me sad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel because she's being very serious about this. Like, she thinks this is good. She thinks this is funny. And that I feel bad for her because of that, because she's obviously like, the delusion is huge.
You know, it was really sad.
What's
Actually,
up?
speaking of something, so I was watching
I keeps watering.
Jim's
Blech.
stream where he was playing Nan's stream that like
Yep.
Meredith was on, and
Yep.
they were talking about the night of the Deania pizza thing, and she was shitting on Melanie Little, saying that, and she kept saying he or she, which was really, what the fuck? Is that like a trans joke? Like, well, I don't understand what that is.
No, she was trying to, the way I read it is that Nan was trying to be like cute. Like, she was trying to be like, ooh, we don't really know who I'm talking about here, or do we?
Oh, please.
Like, it was so stupid.
So then Meredith was like, oh, that was such a bad night. I was so drunk. I threw up on the way there. I threw up on the way back. I was throwing up in the courthouse the next. I'm like, that's just sad. Like, that's just sad. You're making me, and everything is like that. Like when she posted the videos, it was like, this was a night where I was really, really drunk and I was really out of it. And I sure was not behaving my best. Like, God, I think maybe you have a problem with alcohol. It's sad.
And Meredith doesn't really have a filter. She says like what is in her brain. It comes right out. It doesn't matter. She's not thinking about legal consequences. She's not thinking about anything. And she started on that stream. I texted you. I was like, you need to get in touch with Aiden and let him know that Meredith is talking about communications between Aiden and his lawyers openly on this stream. And that's not okay. Like, there's, he deserves privacy for that. His lawyers deserve privacy. She was just in front of random people, not knowing who's in the chat, just like for the whole public to hear, talking about without any kind of qualms, without any kind of hesitance, like just talking about what his lawyers were saying to him and advising him, at least from her perspective, like what she's saying happened. But like, that's not fucking okay. And that's another time where Nan, as a lawyer, should have been like, ooh, that's not okay. I don't care who you are, but that's not okay. I'm a lawyer. If she's a lawyer, I guess she is. She should have been like,
she's an attorney.
Right. Who
drives a vehicle and has a vagina.
Is she the one that got offered the $1 million contract for?
Is she the one who says she got offered $1 million contract for TV?
Saying. Yeah. Okay. So, but my point again, and this is what Melanie Little was saying about her as well, is when you're sitting in a situation and you've got some rando who you're talking to on the internet being like, oh, let me just go ahead and I don't know if I'm breaking the law here, but talk about, lawyer client confidential, conversations. As a lawyer, I think you would be like, ooh, we can't do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do that here. That would be wrong. And she didn't say a word. She like jumped in and kept going with it. So I don't know. I just like, there's a lot of things wrong over there. And people are going to say there's a lot of things wrong with us too. And they're going to have their, cause I'm retired, but it freaks me out. The mental health issues freak me out. Hey, Carrie, thanks for becoming a new member.
Carrie, you can come join us in the stream tonight when I get drunk and Mel makes me watch some bald guy testify. And I don't know which bald guy it's going to be it. Which thumb is it going to be?
One of the thumbs. So, all right, you know what we haven't really talked about?
David Yanetti and how hot he looks.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I'm really sad that you weren't brought on at the end of the stream. And they brought on Mazza. I know you were. I know,
but Mazza was scheduled to go on in that segment.
No, I know.
I was sitting there. I was watching from backstage. I felt very close to Yanetti. He said a lot of interesting things yesterday. He revealed some stuff. He read the full context of the tweets that the anti-Karen Read people have been using against him and Turtleboy, saying that they were colluding. And the full context was that he was thanking Turtleboy for donating half of the money he raised in a particular fundraiser to Karen's fund. He's very hurt and very upset by ethical allegations, allegations of misconduct. He is like, no. He doesn't like that. Nope. And I think the reason he's comfortable coming on a fundraiser like this is because he wants to address that stuff. He says he's gotten pulled over since the Karen Read case. He's only gotten warnings, no tickets. He's the one who told Lally about Colin Albert.
was huge news. Oh my God. And Colin, Lally was like, so let's break that part down. Let me grab my notes really quick. And the other thing was, do you know the whole text where David Yanetti says something about the bastards, and the House defendants are saying that he is talking about them as witnesses?
Correct.
No. He cleared up the record. The bastards he was talking about, Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan.
Yes.
Not the Haas defendants.
Yes.
Okay. So there was a lot in there about the Scanlon stuff, which I really want to get into. That's what this is. This is very interesting. So right after Karen Reed's initial arraignment, Yanetti got a message from a tipster calling himself Mike Lynch. We all know this. I'm going to just recount it for the audience. David Yanetti figured out that Mike Lynch was actually private investigator Steve Scanlon. And Steve Scanlon had said to him, John was never was never in the house. He was left on the lawn to die. And that he definitely needed to investigate the people inside 34 Fairview, specifically naming Brian Albert and a quote unquote nephew. So Yanetti then wrote an official letter to Adam Lally, the ADA, who was obviously on the first trial, about the beef, about a beef between Colin Albert and John O'Keefe, right? David Yanetti sent the letter prior to grand jury indictments. He demanded the Commonwealth put Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Colin Albert in the grand jury. Lally asked why, since Colin Albert wasn't listed on any police reports as being present. David like basically wanted to keep his cards close to his chest, so he wouldn't tell him why, but he insisted that Colin Albert be questioned anyway. And when the grand jury transcripts were released, it was proven multiple witnesses were forced to admit under oath for the first time that Colin Albert was in the house that night. What the actual fuck, Rebecca?
Yeah, it's interesting because Colin shows up in Brian Johnson's tip to Turtleboy, that he shows up there. He shows up here. But what's interesting about Yanetti is he didn't know the name Colin Albert. He only knew Brian Albert's nephew. So it sort of even more underlines that it wasn't even like he was given, like somebody said to him, okay, there's a guy named Colin you need to check out. But yeah, that was fascinating to me. And it also betrays Lally's complete uninterest in the investigation or at all. Because you can tell Lally's just one of these prosecutors who's just used to getting stuff handed him by the cops and just goes with it. And then he lets the cops bully him. So this is another great example of that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just like, okay, there are certain things that have been happening over the past like few weeks with this, like the new FOIA and find out dump that happened. More like digging in deeper to like GPS coordinates and actual text messages, specifically from Jen McCabe. Marjo said, I believe Colin and Allie had the time zone changed on their phones. Why did he call Aaron Beatty after 12:30 for a ride? More interesting to me than calling Alan Beatty after 12:30 for a ride is why was Jen McCabe getting in touch with the Beatty household at 5:30 in the morning?
Because she had the thought that she could say that's where she thought John was. But it's Aaron Beatty, right? It's the daughters, Tom Beatty's daughters. I don't know, Aaron.
Yeah.
She's the kid that allegedly was intimidated. Someone said stuff a dick in your mouth or something to this teenager because she missed a call from Colin who wanted a ride at around 12:30. And she's also part of the young people, by the way, who talked to their parents, or young people who said things in front of their parents who they overheard. But yeah, that whole thing is. And then Tom Beatty has actually come out like online and said, like, leave my fucking kid alone. Like, I've seen him talk about being bullied by people in Canton after this. Like, they're interesting characters in the story. And I think Tom was friends with John is kind of the origin story of that, right? Like,
Yeah. So the document dumps, the timeline shifting, all the Coldplay theory, all that stuff has sort of given me a different perspective, I think, on what actually happened. And I wanted to go through that with you really quickly, if I could, and get your take on it.
Sure.
So I feel like I'm starting to better understand like the timeline here. And it's not necessarily from the filing that we just read, the huge like 1,600 page filing, which included all the exhibits, and that's why it was so long. But it's sort of a culmination of all the recent documents that have come out. And so here's what I wrote down in my thought process, and I'll explain that to you. So the timeline. John is walking toward 34 Fairview at 12:25. I think we can agree on that, right? 12:25 a.m.
He's walking.
Those are those 80 steps walking toward the house.
Yeah, there's like that little time frame where it can happen. I think it's like 12:23, 12:24. But yes.
Okay.
We know it's after. And as much as Loophole Lawyer says this isn't true, they did arrive around 12:21. Loophole Lawyer said so many things yesterday that made me want to shoot myself. Whole other conversation. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's when
John
he's walking.
Yes.
80 steps toward the house. 12:25. When does John's phone disconnect from Karen's Lexus?
For the final time, I believe
12:29.
I believe the 12:29, 20 something, like 12:29 in that minute, I believe is when his phone finally disconnects from hers, because that's when the Coldplay thing, the transition from through the speaker to back to the phone happens. Yes.
Okay. So just as John is taking those 80 steps toward the house, Brian Higgins sends him the text, "You coming here?" Do you remember, like that? You remember that text, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point in time, John walked into the garage. That's what I'm positing. I think that's what you're positing as well. In the garage, he found Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, maybe Colin Albert, and definitely Chloe. And I think he was confronted by a very, very, very drunk Brian Higgins. Let's think about how long Brian Higgins had been drinking that day.
Even a lot for him.
Yeah. I mean, and if he only drinks Jameson and ginger, as somebody who used to be a Jameson ginger person myself, or a Jameson neat person myself, or a Jameson ice person myself, the last time that I got knee walking drunk was because I had 4 double shots of Jameson on a St. Patrick's Day. And that left me passed out face first in someone's lawn, and then getting into an Uber and like puking in an Uber. That's how bad I was. And I don't get drunk like that. But the problem was I thought I was taking single shots, and the bartender was pouring me doubles. So I didn't realize I was drinking doubles, but I drank 4
You would have thrown up anyway.
I know. I drank 4 double shots of Jameson in the span of like 3 hours, which is a lot for me.
Yeah.
So imagine that Higgy has been drinking since they got back from New York, which was that afternoon, all the way until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. So he's drunk. And you can kind of see it. I mean, you see it in the video from the waterfall, he's doing that, like, come on, man, blah, all that stuff. So John walks into the garage at around 12:30. We know that Karen connects to the Wi-Fi at 12:36.
12:20 something.
No,
John didn't walk in there at 12:30. No, it was way earlier than that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm being dismissive. I apologize.
No. Okay. So John's walking toward the house at 12:25. Brian texts him in that moment, "You coming?" And then he walks into the garage. So yeah, you're probably right. So 12:20, let's say 12:26, because we don't know the exact time. He walks into the garage. I still think
earlier, but that's just me.
Okay, that's fine. But what we do know is that his phone disconnects from Karen's Lexus at 12:30. So she's pulling away, or she's actually gone already by that time. And then she connects 6 minutes later, which makes sense because that's how long it would take to drive to One Meadows from there. She connects 6 minutes later to the Wi-Fi at One Meadows. John has walked into the garage. There's a very drunk Brian Higgins there, who probably is. I was watching one of Sam's videos Sam Beningo, where she was talking about her philosophy has always been that Brian Higgins was really offended that Karen was ignoring him. But then I was watching the waterfall videos again. Karen's actually not ignoring him. She's doing that weird thing where she's like touching his sleeve. She's talking to him. The one person who is ignoring him is John O'Keefe. And that makes sense to me, that he would be aggressive towards John when John walked in, like, dude, why are you ignoring me? Like, I thought we were cool, kind of thing. In that, sort of, that might have been it too. He might have just been like, what the fuck, bro? And in that moment, like, knowing dog behavior, like, for instance, I'll tell you really quickly a story about Ruby, our very loving, very people-friendly dog, French bulldog. A kid came to our house last night and walked in the door, and Ruby like ran up to her to greet her and was really excited. And the kid was like, oh my God, I'm afraid of dogs. And Ruby lost her goddamn mind because dogs can sense when there's any kind of tension, anxiety, fear. They think of it as like dogs see that kind of energy as a weak energy. And so they go into fight mode almost. They go into aggressive mode almost. So Ruby, who's like the most laid back, sweet, loving, kind dog, ran into the living room, started barking and low growling, grabbed one of her toys, did the death shake on her toy until the kid was out of the room. And Lindsay was like, why is she acting like this? Because she had never seen her act like that. And I was like, it's because the kid is afraid of dogs. And so when John walks into the room and you got all of this negative, weak ass energy happening with all these men all being drunk and not being in control of their facilities. And then one of them walks in and the other ones are like, dude, and they like buck up like they're about to fight. That dog went into fight mode and went right after John because John was the weak link. John was the new person in the room, and John was the stranger who had never met Chloe before. So, and in that, because of that, John falls back and he hits his head, on either the concrete, the corner of the concrete that we've seen before or whatever it might be, but that's what causes the.
So you don't think he was punched?
He may have been, but the what is it? Contra coup,
yeah.
The contra coup caused the raccoon eyes. So how are we to know?
But he also had a contusion on his nose. I think he was punched
at any time.
Yeah, I think
it could have happened when it could have happened anytime. He may have been punched. Regardless, there was some sort of altercation. Chloe came at him, grabbed him by the arm, which is what that dog is trained to do. And I would really suggest you guys going and looking at videos of German Shepherd / Malinois. They're the most aggressive. They're always used in police work. They have a really deep bite scale. And what they are trained to do is grab here or grab here. And it's very clear that they were trying to pull him down. That's very clear that Chloe was trying to pull him down. So here's where my opinion about, I think we agree on almost all of that. But here's where my opinion has changed a little bit about when the conspiracy started. Thanks for becoming a member, Marilyn. We really appreciate that. I think in that moment, Brian Albert sobered up real quick. And I think he shut that house down. I think he shut that house down in that moment. No one can leave because here's the weirdest thing that happened. Julie Nagel had just texted her brother Ryan to come pick her up. So why, within 5 minutes of him showing up, did she walk outside and say, no, I want to stay? And then gets them to leave, basically. And also there was a shift in the planning between Julie Nagel, Sarah Levinson, and Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe. There was a shift because before there had never been a plan for them to go home with Jen and Matt. And now all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's a plan. Jen tells them, hey, you're coming home with us. That's different from, hey, I got to ride. My brother's on the way. And she says, no, you're coming home with us, basically. So Julie Nagel goes outside. She is tasked with getting rid of her brother. And that's from Brian. Okay. When Brian shows up, Julie has to get rid of him.
Question?
Yep.
Do you think Julie Nagel knew? I mean,
yes, I think everybody. I think everyone in the house knew. That's what's changed for me.
Okay,
that's what's
I don't think that at this point everybody knew, but that's okay. I'm listening because I could be convinced.
That is what has changed for me, is that I actually believe that everybody in the house knew because Brian said no one's leaving. They may not have known what happened in the garage. They may not have known that a dude was dead. They may not have known that it was John O'Keefe. They may not have known any of those details, but they certainly knew that they had to do what Brian Albert told them to do. And so, and this is all conjecture on my part. This is all opinion, for the record, I don't want to get sued, but this is my opinion about what happened. So when Ryan shows up, Julie has to get rid of him. Why, like I said, why would she text Ryan to come get her and then walk out a few minutes later and say, never mind, I'm staying. And this is where I think the conspiracy began. I think that Jen McCabe stepped in to wrangle the kids. That was her responsibility. You got to keep these kids in line. And then Nicole gets to cleaning because that's what she does. How many times do they bring that up? They get Colin and Chloe out of there by getting Allie McCabe and Caitlin to take care of those two situations. And that's Jen being in charge of that. And then Brian Albert and Brian Higgins start the evidence cover up. And then here's another thing that's really interesting. And this is something that I did pick up from Sam. So I want to give Sam Beningo credit. She's really smart. I think that I'm not talking about any of the psychology of their testimonies or anything, but she's going off of the facts of that night. And I find it very interesting. She made this point, and this is what changed my opinion about everything. You know how Brian Albert was at Jen McCabe's house the next morning, and that's when he talked to the cops, when Jen was being questioned by the cops and Brian Albert was being questioned by the cops. He wasn't there to like shepherd Jen over there and to make sure Jen said everything right. He was there so that he could get questioned at Jen's house, and so the cops would never walk into 34 Fairview. He, from the moment this happened, was trying to keep everyone out of that house, get rid of all the evidence, get rid of all the kids, make sure everyone's on the same story, get out of here. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to pretend I'm going to sleep and that we don't have a crazy ass dog because the dog isn't here. And we're going to shut the blinds. We're going to turn the lights off. We're going to act as if we have no idea what's going on outside. And we lucked out because we all saw Karen's car pull away. So we have our Patsy. And then...
And we know she's a broken taillight.
And we know she has a broken taillight. And then you look at all of their phone records. The amount of times...
Bananas.
The amount of times that Brian Higgins and Brian Albert are calling each other. Brian Higgins is at the police station. He's already getting Tully involved. We can't see the pictures clear enough. I'm sure at some point, someday, someone is going to be able to enhance those photos, but it does look like Brian Higgins has a pretty big bruise on his hand when he's at the police station. Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, butt dials, Jen McCabe calling and texting everybody, the 2:27 a.m. search, Allie and Colin, all of this from basically midnight until 6 a.m. the next morning and beyond, because that's when Berkowitz gets involved. When Brian Albert starts calling Berkowitz and Brian Higgins talks to Berkowitz is then involved. So then it's a flurry of even more calls and texts. Because here's the other thing. Why would anybody even think about what Berkowitz had to do with this? If he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So if the police do decide to do any kind of like they rope Michael Proctor into it. He was not on call that morning. He lied about that on the stand. Somebody in Canton who was close to Proctor or Courtney calls and says, "Hey, this is happening. You need to get involved." They have Berkowitz. They're calling Berkowitz first thing in the morning. They're getting Proctor involved first thing in the morning. Like it happened. Brian Albert went like this and he was like, let's do this. And he scared everybody. And that's my opinion. That's what I think happened.
I agree with mostly all of that. I think the one thing that's changed for me,
not Tully Good. Sorry, Sean Good. You're right.
One thing that's changed for me looking at all of the call stuff, especially the Berkowitz stuff, is that I used to think, and I actually was half serious about I think Berkowitz might be involved thing, or might have known.
Oh, I think he knew.
I used to think that Berkowitz was this hapless guy who was like BFFs with Higgins, knew the Alberts, etc. And also, Kevin, all the cops, but like BFFs with Higgins. We know that they were like BFFs. That Higgins was like, I need you to do me a solid. This bitch killed my friend, yada, yada, yada. And that I have actually come to believe that Berkowitz actually knew what happened.
Yes,
because
I agree.
Like that Higgins told him what actually happened. That like John, whether or not he says he did it or not, there was a mishap. John died. And good news, this woman also happens to have a broken taillight. So we don't want to get our buddy Brian, messed up in this. You all right? Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to somebody.
No, Meredith O'Neill just started singing in my headphones again. And I just
no.
Yeah, that was
No,
crazy. And I don't
no.
even know why. I don't know why. Okay.
It's sort of about
All right,
it's sort of about the who knew what happened and who didn't know what happened. That's interesting to me. Like I part of me is like, I also didn't used to think that they specially requested Proctor. Now I do, given the device and the time cards and all that stuff. I used to just think that he jumped on it because he was like he's like, oh, I know these people. I'll handle this. And I also used to think that a lot of these people believed, and I still think that some of them believe that Karen Reed did it, and they're strengthening their case like they always do. But I think Berkowitz knew. I think he knew.
Yeah, I do too.
Knew. And did you happen to watch the stream where Emily C was here talking about the GPS cruiser data that Kyle Sharkey pulled?
I saw some of it, but I did not get into that part yet. And I was hoping you were going to explain that to me. But I did want to say before we get into that, Chastity said, I think Julie knew the extent of it just because of her blob testimony. That's what I'm saying. I think she knew.
Do you think that night?
I do.
I think that night, I agree with you that Brian locked everything down, but I don't think they knew there was a dead man in the house at that point.
I do. Maybe. I don't know if they knew there was a dead man. I think that Brian was like, change of plans. Everybody stays here. We've had something happen. We're taking care of it. I need you all to listen to me. Here's the plan. And then eventually they figured it out. And by that time, because here's the thing, you might be right, because getting them all involved in what he needed them to do made them involved without them knowing what they were being involved in, which gives him some leverage over them. And then, but like, think about Julie's testimony, the blob in the yard. She's super nervous on the stand. Like she fucks some shit up on the stand. And then the video of Aiden outside of D&E Pizza when they're all coming at him and Jill comes getting out of her car and all that. Julie Nagel is sitting there on the bench with all the bros recording everything. And all of a sudden her brothers are attacking Aiden. And so Ryan Nagel, and like, think about Ryan Nagel's testimony and how he doesn't remember any kind of time. Tristan Morris doesn't remember anything. Colin doesn't remember anything. Like none of them remember anything to do with time. But Julie Nagel is always there, including when things got real shady much later on. Like think about her with Lindsay Gaetani, her flirting with Gaetani. Julie Nagel is always there. And I think that they keep her close. Somebody also said,
she's a pick-me, and they take advantage of that.
In my opinion, Julie was going to discover the body until Karen Reed woke up. I don't know which Julie you're talking about. I'm assuming Julie Albert.
No. They were saying that Julie Nagel, she said was going to, quote, discover. Oh, Julie Albert, the donut deliverer.
Coming the next morning.
Which, by the way, is a bullshit story because you see that Jen asked Brian Albert for a hot one with cream and sugar. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was in the text. Can you explain what you're talking about for those people in the chat who don't know?
It's in one. Okay, so the texts that have come out, like the texts that even on the Hyde report, which is so full of flaws, but on the Hyde report, there's also
fuck her, fuck Hyde. I'm so mad about Hyde. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm so mad about that because she had this like attitude of like superiority about science and data and facts. Her report is so fucked up. There were so many inconsistencies in that report. She should be barred from testing ever again. Testifying, sorry, as a witness, as an expert witness.
I don't disagree, but there's also just some texts in there. So it's like, doesn't matter exactly what time they have, all that stuff, like stuff unrelated to the case. And that's the stuff that really like blew my mind, that Jen McCabe at 2:25 in the morning is texting about sports, that she's texting with people about a vacation planning, that she's texting like early the next day and stuff. But one of the text that stuck out to me, and I don't want to put it on the screen because it's on our document, which has our passwords on it. I did that once before. We had to change everything. Was that Jen texted at 2:26 in the morning. Denise was on it. Coco was on it. I don't know who Shelly is. She was on it. But and she texted, I called Dad as well, but Polly was there. So what did she call Dad about? Because remember, Denise and Coco at this point would know that something happened at the house. This wasn't about something else, right? Also, Jen calling John O'Keefe or texting John O'Keefe at 5 a.m., 5:04 a.m. Please answer. Karen is worried. We need to find you. Please answer so I know you're okay. I believe at that point she knew something happened to John O'Keefe. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made that Google search at 2:27 in the morning, which the FBI
Right.
thinks she did, and therefore I think she did. That's fucked up. That's some calculated stuff right there. That is some calculated stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about what you were about to talk about with Emily C. and the GPS coordinates. I don't know anything about that. So if you can talk to me about that, I would appreciate it.
Okay. So I don't want to misquote Emily, but my gleaning of this was Emily came on the show last week when you were out, and we were going through her FOIA project and the stuff that stuck out to her. And she shared her screen, and she shared Kyle Sharkey, the good one, not the one that Meredith is pretending to be, FOIA'd the cruiser GPS data for the dates around the time of the case, and then the discovery of evidence a couple weeks later. So smart.
Yeah.
A couple of times that Proctor says in his report or his envelope that he discovered taillight pieces, he actually wasn't there, or at least his cruiser wasn't there. So there's that. She's like, of course, that's defensible by saying he went in someone else's car. True. The other time, though, that she pulled up was that there's one time that he goes and he writes in his report that he discovered all these pieces. And it's like all the pictures of like the many pieces that he allegedly found that day. The GPS data shows he was there, but he was there for 6 minutes. So the question was, did he do a thorough search, find those pieces, bag them up in 6 minutes? Because if you found some, I think it stands to reason you would stay there for longer to see if you could find more, right? If you like, or was he just there, brought the pieces, he was there to photograph the pieces and then pick them up and left? So the 6 minute period like really stuck out to her. But I would say that looking at the stuff, the minutia that she's pulled out from Kyle's searches, Kyle's FOIAs in particular, which are very, very specific, was very interesting to me. And she talked about that when she was here on the show. And by the way, she was such a delightful guest. Like, I'm so glad that she's become a friend of our pod. Like, she's the best.
Agreed. I love Emily. I love so many people we've met through the podcast, Jimmy and Will and Baker and Emily. They're all lovely people. Well, they're sometimes lovely people. Some of them can be assholes, but I still love them. One other thing with the David Yanetti interview yesterday that popped out to me, he mentioned that after the verdict, he talked about, I thought it was really great because he talked about how emotional he got when the verdict was read. And we all saw that happen. And he talked about that. So you should definitely go back and watch that. But he also said that after the verdict, a juror contacted him and admitted that he was the lone holdout keeping deliberations going for 4 days. David Yanetti had pegged this juror as a pro-government lock for the prosecution, but the juror revealed he was actually holding out because he wanted to completely acquit Karen Read of the OUI charge as well. I thought that little tidbit was really interesting.
I wouldn't have convicted her on that either, because it was based on an interview she said, but it was not based on the timing of that.
Not on science.
The timing of that was really suspect. Was she drunk at 12:29? And then I remember them asking that question of Bev, like, it's like the jury asked that question, like, are we looking at her being drunk at this time or this time or this time? And then Bev was like, well, it's look at the verdict slip and just see what it says, and whatever you decide based on that.
Fucking Bev.
The verdict slip that I limited and kept really complicated and did not make clear in any way. So yeah, that was.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, they took blood tests at 7:00 in the morning.
Yes, after 7. Yes.
And we have no idea if she drank after 12:30.
And it wasn't the same kind of test that they use for drunk driving analyses. So.
Right. So I wouldn't have found her guilty on that either, which I think is tough because everybody was so drunk that night, and so many cops were out driving their fucking cars, and they were so drunk. And it's like, they don't have the same, like, if she's going to be found guilty of OUI, then so should everybody. So should Higgins. We have footage of him driving several cars in the parking lot of the police department, and he's drunk. The guy's drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it.
We also have footage of him walking around like a ghost in the police station with his hood on.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, what does this say? Chad says, Rebecca, what if it's 11-1 and you're the one you're the one holdout and that becomes a mistrial on the manslaughter count. I believe DUI was lesser on manslaughter. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, although they were able to separate out the OUI charge so that it would not make an automatic guilty for manslaughter. They were able to pull it out, which was smart because they knew the jury slip was confusing and it wasn't automatic, but it looked like it was automatic if they found that. So I am the OUI in particular. If there were two people in the room, I think it would have gone differently. But the fact that there was one is why I didn't, because it's like ultimately, if it's clear that the defense is okay with that being guilty, which I think, I don't know if it was clear to the jury, but it was certainly clear to me that it was okay for the defense. Ultimately, I would say if you're going to make me choose so we can finally leave, because we're not going to be able to leave unless I choose. If you guys feel that strongly about it, fine. Yep. I would never do that for a manslaughter or a murder or a serious crime that brings jail time. I would never do that for that ever, 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 ever. For something like that, I felt like in a scenario where I'd be like that guy and be like, fine, whatever, fuck it, sure, whatever.
I feel like they needed to give something to the Commonwealth because they've gone through 2 trials now. It's like, let's be done with this. Let's put a nail in this coffin, but we have to give the Commonwealth something because they've spent like $3 million to do this. So, if my boyfriend hadn't come home and I thought he was philandering himself around, and if I were worried he and a guy I'd been flirting with were together, I'd head straight for the vino upon getting home.
Same.
I don't think I would, but I mean, some people.
I've always thought about this. I mean, this is another. I don't think even that people think Karen Read is guilty think that she on purpose murdered him, but some of them do think she did, and some of them do think she drove back to the house that night knowing she had hit him. Right. Given all these people's comfort with driving under the influence.
Yeah.
If she knew she hit him, why would she have gone? Why wouldn't she just have gone back to her house?
Her own house. Yeah. Also, this is where I will never believe. There's no way I can believe it anyway because of the scientific data and because of ARCCA. Why would you call and leave all those insane voicemails on his phone after you just hit him and possibly killed him?
3-dimensional chess, man. 3-dimensional chess.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then on top of that, she goes back to his house. And then on top of that, she wakes up his niece and freaks his niece out and tries to tell his niece that maybe he was hit by a plow. And then she starts calling all of his friends and freaking them out. She's the dumbest fucking criminal in the world. If she did it, she sure is like getting all the police and everybody like she gets into a car with Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts, drives to 34 Fairview, knowing that these two don't know that she's killed him. And that the second they find his body, they're calling 911 to bring the cops over. Like that would be the dumbest thing. Like you'd have to be ridiculously dumb to try to get away with it that way.
Yeah. The one interesting thing that Yanetti said today, which I think that I sometimes, I assume people have knowledge that they don't have. So I always assumed that Yanetti in an arraignment can only address what they have been given. He can't address other stuff, right? So like when he said outside that talking about the overcharge and stuff, he was talking about what they had, what he could address. And he was not saying at that point, yes, she hit him, even though I think that folks might interpret that way. I've always sort of loosely interpreted it as that maybe at that point, even Karen didn't know all the facts because the cops told her there was stuff that existed that didn't exist. And she potentially got confused. But, the idea that at one point he was talking about the overcharge and not what he perceived to be the facts of the case has also been held against him. So yeah, somebody says, remember, she did say she was too tipsy. All these people were too tipsy to drive anywhere. Yes, I'm sure she was. I think that Karen thought that she and John were just having another one of their dramatic fights and that it would be another ebb and flow and they'd have makeup sex the next day.
And the other thing is that let's not forget the friggin' Boston News report that came out that there was video footage of John being hit. Imagine if you were in Karen's shoes and you weren't totally sure, but everybody was telling you that you hit him. And then Boston News comes out and says, oh, and by the way, there's video of this car hitting him.
Right.
Did I hit him? Did I?
She didn't. Yeah. You know how we know? Because
How do we know?
We've read the ARCCA report that was sent to.
We've listened and looked at all the evidence. That's how
I'm
we know.
looking at the report right now. That the one that's now we can actually read.
Yeah, let's talk about the ARCCA report. I haven't been able to get into it much. I was really in the giant filing that Karen's team did on Friday. I've been looking into that. So can you talk to me a little bit about the ARCCA report? I know you've looked at it.
Yes. So essentially, this is the report. Do you remember how in trial 2, ARCCA did testing, and then they brought in Welcher and crew to do more testing, and then ARCCA had to respond to that. So there was ARCCA, by the way, did a bunch of work that we never saw at trial 2.
Right.
ARCCA did stuff for the FBI that both the prosecution and defense had access to. So they did that for the Department of Justice. Then they did stuff after trial 1, but the stuff that came into trial 2 was the stuff that they did to rebut Welcher and Burgess's report from Aperture at the time. So this is the report that we can now see, is the report that they wrote that Hank Brennan desperately wanted to keep out because it came so late. And then Karen's team was like, we just got your shit and we had to get our person to respond. So anyways, this is that one. So this is the only thing that actually matters much, is this part here where they talk about what Welcher and Aperture found. So here's, by the way, January 30th, 2025, this is a little the eve of trial, okay, is when when Welcher dated this report. He has that the location and orientation of the laceration and arm are consistent with geometry and orientation of the taillight. The totality of the evidence is consistent with the right rear corner of her Lexus hitting John O'Keefe, etc. And then he looks at the forearm laceration. That's the dog bites. HAT line and posterior head strike. That's obviously the head most commonly injured body region given pedestrian impacts, along with no other injuries, apparently. So anyway, so they did their testing analysis. They talk about what they did, and here is their conclusion. Based on a review of the above and below, as well as referencing literature and my training and experience. So this is before they had to do their test with the swinging arm situation, okay? The evidence in this matter indicates Mr. O'Keefe's right upper extremity did not impact the subject Lexus as alleged. His right arm injuries and lack thereof are inconsistent with the forces produced during an impact. His right arm kinematics during impact with the Lexus are inconsistent with producing the documented cuts damage to his right sleeve. The results of laboratory and field testing demonstrate that had Mr. O'Keefe's right arm had been struck by the Lexus, as alleged by Dr. Welcher, Mr. O'Keefe would have likely sustained multiple fractures, which may have included his ulnar radius, metacarpal bones, etc. So this is the important part. The important part is this very quick thing where they are basically tearing apart the Welcher Burgess report. The evidence in this matter is inconsistent. Welcher presents contradictory analyses concerning Mr. O'Keefe's alleged position at the time of the impact and the manner in which he would have supposedly been thrown. So basically, they're saying he was trying to have it both ways. They're saying he was standing there, but that the injuries would be consistent with something worse. Then they look at the super fun paint tests. Okay. Dr. Welcher.
You know what I forgot?
What?
Didn't Yuri Buchanan have something to do with these?
Yuri Buchanan did the same exact test.
There are pictures of Yuri being like this with the
correct.
Yeah, okay.
So this is just a repeat of that. Welcher performed another simplistic test in which he painted the taillight blue and his hand yellow. And he does that. They show that. With his simplistic test, they use the word simplistic so many times, it appears Dr. Welcher only demonstrated that Mr. O'Keefe's arm can align with the right taillights. However, it does not appear he gives any consideration as to the expected damage and forces involved in such an interaction or at what speed. So basically, he's saying all that proves is that, yes, one can hold their arm up like this, which is exactly what they said in court. So then here's their testing. I would say this is just a fun read. There's nothing here we don't know. There's just a lot of use of the word simplistic, which I super enjoy because all that was. And then they get into this very technical analyses these did with robots and cameras and all this stuff. And look at that and look at that. And meanwhile, all we have from Welcher and Burgess is Welcher lying on a ground, holding a dummy and then letting it go and letting it fall to the ground. So
one of the interesting things it's always been interesting to me about the 24 mile an hour test, when we see in ARCCA's testing, we see the 24-mile-an-hour test, backwards, and the dummy. What was the dummy's name?
Rescue Randy.
Rescue Randy.
I think Rescue Randy was Welcher's dummy. Was that their dummy or was that Welcher's dummy? I can't remember. One of them was Rescue Randy.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Rescue Randy gets hit. The tail light smashes and goes everywhere, right? Except for the diffuser, obviously. One of the arguments that's always been made is like, look, ARCCA's showing us right here how this happened. Like, that's the anti's argument, that your own witnesses are showing us it could happen. The problem is it can break the outside of the tail light for sure. But two things. If a 6,000-pound SUV is going 24 miles an hour backwards, this bone right here would probably snap in half. If the impact on a dummy is significant enough to crack that kind of tail light, that plastic, but not go all the way down to the diffuser, it would more than likely break the arm, which it didn't. He didn't even have bruises right there, other than like from a dog's mouth.
I mean, if we had taken x-rays of the arm, we would know for sure, would we not, Mel?
For sure. For sure. But the other issue with this test, they are not. How did John Shirt? I don't have the pictures up. Maybe you do somewhere. How did John Shirt suffer all those puncture wounds? Like from a dog's
taillight shards. Plastic taillight shards, Mel.
But ARCCA proved that when he was hit, I know, you know. I'm trying to.
The shards would go this way.
This is for the people in the back.
That way, the dummies in the
24 miles an hour in reverse hits a dummy's arm, and the tail light, the outside of the tail light shatters and goes all over the place. But when that dummy fell and was on the ground and they looked at that sweatshirt, the exact sweatshirt that John O'Keefe was wearing, there wasn't any damage to the sweatshirt.
Right. There was this very basic principle of physics, which got talked about in the trial, and Alessi was talking about it, but I think that he understood it wasn't landing with the jury, so he stopped, which is that an object in motion stays in motion, right? So like if the car is traveling at 24 miles per hour and then it clips something, those taillight pieces will continue traveling. And not be all of a sudden moving at the same rate as the arm, but moving the same rate as the car, because yes, as Tommy Paul would say, that's just a principle of physics, just physics, basic physics. I swear to God, I thought Yanetti was going to say Tommy Paul yesterday. Yanetti at one point, because Turtleboy mentioned what is his name? John Paul? No, not John Paul. Peter Paul. What's his name? What's his actual name?
Who?
Jonathan Paul.
Joe Paul.
Joe Paul.
Trooper Joe Paul.
He said Joe Paul, and Yanetti was like, "Is that his first name, Joe?" And I was like, "He thinks it's Tommy."
Say it, Yanetti. Say Tommy Paul.
He thinks it's Tommy.
A little cold. Okay, but I have something for you really quick.
Okay.
Be able to do that?
The displacement of the body.
In order to calculate how far the body would move based on the mass of the object striking the body, could you use displacement?
Look at his face.
So like I said before, the side swipe, he would not have gotten 100% of the vehicle, 100% of the speed of the striking vehicle. It would have vastly underestimated this vehicle. You couldn't hit a person and side swipe them, spin them off to the side, and have that and get a speed from those calculations.
So you're saying that the discipline of physics cannot figure out how far John O'Keefe's body would move, but you personally figured out that he would have flown now somewhat, or been projected somewhat 30 feet.
Objection.
Sustained.
Are you saying that the principles of physics are
sustained, Mr. Jackson,
determining with the proper calculations how far John O'Keefe's body would have moved?
Listen to him breathe.
At issue.
Objection.
Is that what you're saying, Trooper?
No.
Question.
You just said because
no.
all these calculations, these physics calculations are inapplicable, right?
What I'm saying, it would underestimate the speed and the distance.
Okay, I just wanted to show that to you as a preview for tonight's members only. Yes,
Mm-mm.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You gonna make me watch
Man-
that?
I'm announcing it here that we're watching Tommy Paul tonight.
Oh no.
Yes. Yes, Rebecca. This is how we're going to do it.
That always reminds me of this so hard.
What?
Whenever I see that.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Play it. Wait, no, we'll get a copyright strike for this for sure.
Properties of physics. We study physics. We study properties of physics. It always reminds me of that. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Poopertall, MSP trainer wrote this analysis. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, when I remember watching that for the first time, that was before you and I were working together on this stuff.
I couldn't believe it.
I had no one to talk to about this. I had no one to talk to about this.
Part of me was like, this is so bad. Does this poor man just have like a speaking in public disability where he can't do it? And so he's actually super smart, but just bad at communicating. And then like 5 minutes in, I was like, oh no, that is not what is happening.
I remember listening to the readathon and you were telling Kevin about it. And I was so envious that you had Kevin to talk to about this because I could not explain it to anyone. I would try to explain it to Lindsay. She had no idea what I was talking about. Tried to talk to Ellen Marsh about it. They just didn't understand. And then I would have to listen to you talk to Kevin about it to feel less alone in the world.
I mean, that was the whole readathon thing. Was I felt alone in the world and needed someone to talk to,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's monetize this shit. Let's put it on Patreon.
Look, here we are, you and me, not so alone anymore.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Is there anything else that we want to talk about with ARCCA? Yeah.
You know how when you have a certain sort of like
armpits, okay?
Yeah, you know how when you have a certain sort of like anxiety, your sweat starts to smell different.
Okay. You know what you are reminding me of right now?
Trooper Paul gives me that.
No,
like I'm
you know
like,
what you are reminding me of right now?
What?
Mary Catherine Gallagher.
I know. But you know what I'm talking about. When you have a certain kind of fear or anxiety, your sweat smells different.
Sometimes when I get nervous.
I'm just like, I got that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course I do. You mean this? He instantly gives me that. I instantly get that when I watch this. Like, I'm going to have to change my shirt before we have to take a shower before and after.
Well, maybe you should wear a tank top tonight. Show off your guns because I'm going to make you sweat, girl. Okay. Anything else in the ARCCA report?
No, I just wanted to show how what a slam dunky situation it isn't so great.
Yeah, definitely read it. Really interesting. Also go and read if you get a chance and look at the filing that Karen Reed's team did. We didn't cover a lot of it in this episode. We'll probably have to cover it a little bit more in another one.
Oh, we also we got to talk about the schedule for the week you started. I can't do Thursday morning. I can do Friday morning, but not Thursday morning. Can we do Friday morning instead of Thursday morning?
Yeah, I'm down with that. That's totally fine with me.
Great.
So we'll do our next one. Although the only other thing that we need to schedule, I don't know why we're having a scheduling meeting here in front of the audience, but hey, let's do it. The only other thing we need to schedule is we need to do another footnotes because we've only done one.
Yes, I could do that Thursday night. I could do it whenever. I just can't do Thursday morning, but I can do. Yeah.
Okay. Dizzy, the members only is tonight at 5:00 Eastern. We may have one other members only sometime in the week, but you and I will talk about that offline. Let's talk quickly about why didn't they just sell Karen's Lexus to Carvana?
Oh yeah, that was. So there was a great article about Carvana that came out last week.
Yeah.
I want to say it was in the New York Times, but I'm not sure about how they make $8,000 per car that they buy. Mm-hmm. So Carvana famously overpays. Like if I want to trade in my car, Carvana will or sell it to a dealership. Carvana will give me like more. And it's like, that's weird. How can that possibly be? Because usually those wholesale services give you less, but they're selling convenience. So Carvana not only buys the car and then resells the car, they also own the financing company. They owned the towing company and transport company. They've basically built this big infrastructure. They own the extended warranty company. So they've figured out a way to do it where they can lose money on the actual used car that they're buying and reselling, but they're still making thousands of dollars on the transaction because they own all the sub infrastructure of that. Sort of like when you buy a new car and they upsell you on the extended warranty or whatever, which I'm a total sucker for, but some people aren't. That the dealerships make much more money on that, and they also make money on financing. So Carvana is the financier at a car dealership, even though you're getting a loan with a lower interest rate than you would get if you went to your bank. It's still a marked up interest rate. So the car dealership is still getting like 0.5% of your thing when they resell the loan and all that stuff. Anyway, Carvana owns all the infrastructure. So
I'm sorry, but I just went, wow,
I know.
wow, wow.
I guess what I'm trying to say
I
is,
can't.
if you want to get rid of a used car and get the most money for it, you should just sell it to Carvana. Instead, Howie Carr or somebody on Karen Reed's ear talked her team into doing this very weird event where they were going to put the car on auction publicly, and they put it like behind a velvet rope, like it was one of those cars you have to touch in a contest until the last person standing. And not enough people. Yes.
Go ahead. We have one of our members, one of our listeners. Go ahead.
Incredible.
Go ahead.
You find that photo.
Yeah.
So they decided to have this event thinking that there's going to be all this interest. Meanwhile, they had already gotten offers for it or whatever. And so few people showed up for the auction event that they ended up just canceling the auction itself and selling it to one of the private offers, which makes all the sense in the world. And by the way, the person you should be following on Twitter who's covering all the best news in Boston is Emily Sweeney. She works for the Boston Globe. She's
Sweeney.
like from Southie. She's incredible. She went to this
Amazing.
auction and was like, why are we just canceling the whole thing? I guess I don't understand. Like, what's going on here? She's amazing. She's incredible.
Let me see if I can find her video, because it was a quick video. Emily,
you retweeted it, so you'll find it if you look
did.
on your,
Yeah. I've got two things to show the audience and a third thing to say. Hey, Ray from Dallas. How's it going, buddy? So glad to see you on the fundraiser last night. And so glad to see you here in chat. Okay, here it is. I got it. Let me share this. Oh, I just did that. Let me share this real quick.
All right, share it.
Let me share it. This is Emily Sweeney. She's our fave. Pause it and rewind it. And we go like this. Okay, we ready?
Yes.
So this is Emily at the auction that never happened.
This is Karen Reed's SUV up for auction today. Yeah, that car.
That car.
Love her.
It's a 2021 Lexus, about 12,000 miles.
I wanted to see the car, kind of bless it. We want to find the killers of John O'Keefe. He was not killed by a car.
I'm kind of freaked out about the vehicle being here and everything. I don't think per car is worth 20,000 or even close to it.
I hope that it brings in money. That there are people here to
Look, they're all at the tail light.
It's a
These
great.
people all seem weird. Not gonna lie.
Probably going to be in the movies.
Based upon the turnout that is here today, that he would be better suited to pursue that offer versus proceed forward with the auction sale here today. Thank you very much.
So surprising turn of events. The auction didn't happen. The
I love
owner of the
Sweeney.
vehicle got an offer. Apparently, he couldn't refuse. He
Got
thought
an
it was
offer.
bigger than anything he'd get at the auction. We don't know who the buyer is or how much the car went for, but we'll be following up.
Yeah.
This is Karen.
Okay, we need to get Emily Sweeney on the show.
100%. Love
Okay,
Emily.
I'm going to work on that. Now that she's responded to my tweets, I'm going to work on that. Let's see. Okay, that was one thing I wanted to show you. The next thing I wanted to show you is we had one of our listeners reach out to us who was on their way to the auction. And she was going there because she really wanted to meet Howie Carr and get a copy of his book and see the Lexus and all that stuff. She's a free Karen Reed person. Her name is Joanne. And she told me beforehand that she was going to show up and she was going to wear her whack job sweatshirt to get everybody to ask her questions about it. And she actually got a picture with Howie Carr and she was wearing the shirt. And let me just read to you what Howie Carr said. So he said, you should have a weird Fall River accent option. Everyone agreed. Everyone noticed me when I walked in, pointed and laughed. Outside, the news across the street took pictures, not sure which station. It was raining. And then she sent us a picture with her and Howie, which I'm really excited about showing you all.
Even though I hate Howie Carr, I still got me.
I
really
know,
excited.
but still, this is
I love our
amazing.
fan. Love our fan.
What I'm saying is, Joanne, thank you so much for thinking of us. And when you went to this thing,
Thanks for repping the brand.
Yeah,
being
like not
weird.
just representing the brand, but like representing the work that we do and talking about this case and First Amendment rights, all that stuff. So Joanne, you are a boss ass bitch and I love it. And thanks for wearing a whack job. I just love that she's standing next to Howie Carr in a whack job whack job sweatshirt that says state and local police in Massachusetts.
Can we just say too, she's very beautiful.
She's gorgeous. You're gorgeous,
Very,
Joanne.
very beautiful. Very
You're
beautiful.
Gorgeous. But I'd like to have Emily Sweeney on the show.
Same.
I
So
think that would be
we
a
have to
fucking
talk more
blast.
about this. We have to really get into this filing on Friday when we stream in the morning.
Yes, we
right?
do. Yes, we do. Yeah. Because it's so dense. But the interesting thing about it, the only notes that I put in our notes folder so far, you were like, your notes were pretty much where did it go? Where did it go? Stuff that sticks out in the Karen Reed opposition. You said it's right on its face. It's right on its face. Straight up awesome. I said, agreed, forceful and confident in the facts as they see them. One of the things that struck me as huge is this is the very first time that Karen Reed has been under oath. She signed an affidavit. She wrote out and signed an affidavit under oath that she never hit John O'Keefe with her car. She breaks down how this has affected her personally, financially, and physically, which means she actually has a claim in this case.
Oh yeah.
The House defendants don't. And
The brother's
for the House
counsel brother
defendants,
thinks they have a very, very, very strong. She's a very strong claim.
I think she's going to win this one. I think she's going to win this one. And I think that for the House defendants, it's so funny to me because in this claim, they're saying, what's the word? Oh God, Ali Mata was yelling it out the whole time. What is it? Petitioning activity. The House defendants are saying petitioning activity, and yet they're trying to come after Aidan Carney.
Well, it means something different. So what they are claiming, and this is the interesting part. So petitioning activity includes testifying in court. Okay. Yeah. They are claiming that their role in the case was that they were witnesses who then testified in court, and that anything they testified to is basically gives them immunity from any of this because that's petitioning activity. It's protected.
Fine, but not their behavior outside of that.
The whole point of this filing is that their behavior began before they had any concept of the fact that they could someday be testifying in court. So you take all of their testimony off the table and there's still plenty there in this claim. And that's what this response is sort of, because their motion to dismiss was based on this concept that just like, if you are a congressman, you can't be sued for something you say when you are on the floor of Congress giving a speech or speaking on a bill or opining. You can't, that's petitioning activity. That is protected speech. They're saying the same thing in their motion to dismiss, but they're not addressing any of the rest of it. And what's interesting to me about the inclusion here of Hyde's report is that even her wrong ass report that was designed for the prosecution makes all these people look really bad, really bad.
I want to look at the timeline too. I haven't written this out in a timeline yet. I want to talk about the next time we talk about this. I want to break down all of the shady shit this whole group of people were doing before Karen was even named as the main suspect.
Right.
That to me is like, that's guilt right there. When they're already calling around, texting, changing text messages, thinking about getting rid of their phones, telling them the guy never came in the house. You don't say things unless you're fucking guilty. You know what I mean? Like, you don't say those things unless you're guilty. You don't start to make plans to protect yourselves in this way unless you're guilty. You don't get rid of the dog. You don't get rid of the house. You don't keep everyone out of 34 Fairview, including especially the cops. Why didn't the cops search that house? And it's not because of probable cause. Why didn't they search that house? If it had been me or you or a person of color or anybody else, the police would have been banging down that door and then coming in and with a search warrant and being like, we have to search this house. There's a dude dead on your front lawn. And it's a Boston officer.
The more likely scenario is they would have said, can we come in and take a look around? And the homeowner would have been like, of course.
Yes.
That's how it should have played out.
Yes,
he's a
but it
cop,
didn't happen.
they're cops. They all know each other. It would have been like, yeah, come on in, look around.
It didn't fucking happen though. It didn't,
course
like
not.
the cops didn't ask the question and they didn't offer it.
Right.
And they didn't even try to get a search warrant.
Well, because they weren't invited, so they knew they wouldn't be welcome, and they all want to stay in the good graces of the scariest
Brian
man
Albert.
in Canton,
Right.
who looks like what? As Kevin said, who looks like Billy Joel fucked a cigarette.
It's so good. It does look like Billy Joel fucked a cigarette. The text to Chris Albert text to John at 9 a.m. on 129 about the snow party is just sick. Absolutely sick.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you guys really have to dig into it. A lot of people have been covering it. Emily C's website is great. What is it? It's
FOIAandfindout.com.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description here, so you guys can go check it out.
Well,
But the
I will
FOIA
I'll make it my goal before Friday to make comprehensive notes on this.
Okay.
That because I have to. I am. It's very tempting to just pull other people's takes from Twitter, but I can't do that. I have to find my own. I have to my own special takes. Hence the Coldplay theory. So I will drag through it. Yes, I'll drag through it, and we will discuss it in more detail on Friday for sure.
Yeah, I want to come up with a timeline of all the things that people were doing and saying before Karen was even considered a suspect. Because to me, that shows consciousness of guilt right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
a phrase we know so well because of Hank. Thanks, Hank. If Hank gave us nothing else, he gave us some very handy phrases, such as, I know consciousness of guilt is just a legal phrase, but he used it so frequently. You want Hank to come on the show?
I fucking do. Can you imagine if we could get Hank to come on this show? I have so many questions for him. Not that he would be able to answer any of them. Yeah. I'm going to try to get Emily Sweeney, though. I think that would be hilarious and fun.
Yeah. Just tell her we want to talk to her about the journalism landscape in Boston, why it is that she's embraced this new media, how she feels about her newfound fame. Yes.
Did you see that Sue O'Connell and I got into it?
I'm not surprised.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see it. But I'm not surprised.
Okay. I gotta show you. Okay. You got to fill the space while I look for this.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, do it. You got this.
So
come on, Trooper Paul.
Oh, someone wanted to know the origin story of Tommy Paul. That is because Mel, early on this podcast, I don't know if we didn't know his first name or we couldn't remember his first name. So she just said she always thinks of him as Tommy Paul, like Tommy Boy. And that stuck. And I would like to make some Tommy Paul merch, like in the vein of Tommy Hilfiger. I've thought about it. He does seem like a Tommy, not a Joe.
Tommy Paul.
Oh, so Donna says, I get so sad when I hear Coldplay now. I'm sorry, Donna. I'm sorry to ruin Coldplay, the most maudlin band in the world for you. I'm sorry they make you sad now.
You know, one of the other things I really want to dig into?
What?
Colleen Crawford. I mean, I think that everyone's sleeping on her. I think we really need to figure this out.
Yeah, she's complicit. I'd love to see some of the other cases she worked on.
All right, let me see. Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah. So the exact text from Chris Albert to John at 8:52:55. DE party today.
So crazy. That is so fucking crazy. Okay, here it is. Got it. Okay, you ready for this? It was very cordial, but she kind of cut me off really fast and was just like wouldn't answer my question, which I found very interesting. All right, so Sue O'Connell, who is a local journalist in Boston, who's been inserting herself on how to be the best journalist to all of us on the internet, said, everything you say, text, write, email, or share in front of a journalist is on the record by default. If you want it off the record, you have to ask before you say it, and the journalist has to agree. No takebacks after the fact. Doesn't hurt to clarify what off the record means. Same logic with recording. In a two-party consent state like Massachusetts, you ask before you hit record. And the best practice is for both people confirm consent out loud once the record button is hit. And I said, honest question, Sue. Did someone ask you for all this journalistic advice, or are you just giving it freely? And she said, someone shared something with me, then said off the record. It happens a lot. I don't know. I said, but why did you feel the need to share the inner workings of the journal world with all of Twitter? I'm honestly asking. When one of my sources tells me off the record, I generally just go on about my work and either agree to it or not. And she said, "Good for you." That was it. She would not answer my question. Like,
well, to be in her defense, I do not think
Yeah,
everyone
oh.
is obligated to answer every question that's thrown on them on Twitter. Otherwise, I'd be on
No,
Twitter all
agreed.
day answering
Agreed.
questions.
agreed.
But it is, she is the Twitter journal. I mean, but she's doing it in such a passive aggressive way. I mean, I'm
She's
all
such a
about showing how
guru.
journalism works,
Yeah,
but the passive aggression, I can't deal with it.
yeah. That's the thing. And she's such a guru. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, what? Who are you? First of all, who are you talking to? Probably Aiden, because she seems to just be focused. on
Probably.
Aiden. Yeah. And so I was just like, you're just spitting this out, Sue. You're just like, educating the masses on journalism, and then trying to be like, it happens a lot in the journalism world to me. And I was like, okay, I may not have been in journalism for the past 40 years, but I also do some journalism myself, and I know about, off the record. So it was just so funny. She's just so fucking passive and condescending. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, when people ask questions, I love explaining how journalism works, but I also, the issue with the way some people do this is that they try to mystify the profession. They try to mystify it like if you aren't trained in specific rules and went to a specific place and think in a specific way, then you are not qualified to do this work. That's something that journalists, like my newsroom, has been trying to bust out of that thinking for 10 years now, where we are, hiring interns and paying them and letting inexperienced reporters learn on the job and not doing this gatekeepery, ridiculous thing where if you only do it one way you have to tell the truth. You have to be transparent. You have to follow our journalism code of ethics that we make every reporter sign off on and whatever. But the idea that all of those people are now qualified to go on Twitter and lecture everybody about how they're doing it wrong. No.
Well, it's because they are mainstream, old school media, and they want to keep it that way. They don't want all of us independent journalists doing work for them, I guess. I mean, I look at like I've stopped watching CNN, MS Now, all those corporate shows because they are told what to report. They're not reporting what's actually happening. Oftentimes I watch like Midas, or I like the Bulwark a lot, mainly because I'm not on the conservative side of things. So I like a low base conservative perspective. I mean, not everybody on the Bulwark is conservative, but I think they did start off from like people who were leaving extreme conservatism to create independent journalism. And so I love watching the Bulwark. I love watching Midas. I really like Adam Mockler. I like these kids who are just like really pushing the boundaries of journalism right now. And so anyway, I like Sue can keep trying to teach everybody about journalism, but I think most of us understand it. And it doesn't make her more important or better or special because she works for a corporate media outlet. It just doesn't. So that's my opinion. And with that, you have anything else you want to add?
No, I'm excited to dig into the filing on Friday. And I'm sorry that I wasn't more prepared to do that today, but we had so much else to talk about.
I know.
I mean, Yanetti, man.
I know.
I don't love him less after yesterday. Let me leave it there.
Tim Miller is my favorite on the Bulwark. Absolutely. I love Tim Miller. So we're going to be back at 5:00 tonight. We're going to be doing Cross Roast with Mel and Rebecca. And as I just let the cat out of the bag. Why do you put a cat in a bag?
I don't know. It sounds mean.
It does sound mean. I would never put a cat in a bag. That sounds awful. But so I am letting the cat out of the bag because that's what I would do in real life. We're covering Tommy Paul tonight. I don't think you guys can
become a member, and you can join our stream where I get drunk and Mel forces me to watch Trooper Paul testify. You get cross-examined.
Any membership level for this one. The only one that has the higher membership level is our what is it? Oh, our pop culture reviews and the ad-free sort of rewind on our episodes. So any membership level. There are 2 membership levels.
Sorry.
Join us tonight. I know she's getting hot already.
I am getting so sweaty thinking about having to watch Tommy Paul.
Rebecca is not going to be dry tonight when she watches Tommy Paul.
But not in a good way.
Not in a good way. All right, chat. We love you. Please go like the video. Please subscribe to our channel. Share the content. Do what you can do. We do have an email, Winks, and it is somethingsoffpod@gmail.com. Feel free.
All
to
of
email
our
us there.
contact info is on our YouTube page, as are our Amazon wish lists, as are the places to tip the show, to become a member of the show, to get in touch with us. Everything you need to know is there. And if you've become a member, go put your name on the Google form that's linked to our page, and I will send you a couple of stickers as long as I can check out and make sure you're really a member. You're going to get a sticker.
As long as stickers last.
As long as stickers last. We're almost out of stickers, but I will keep sending them until we're out. So,
yes. And our P.O. box is also listed on the main YouTube page.
And it's in a fun town. Cabin John, Maryland.
Cabin John, I know. So fancy.
It sounds like Log Cabin Republican, Cabin John. I love it.
Well, it's not far off from like Harper's Ferry. I live right next to Harper's Ferry, basically, which is a pretty big historical site. Okay. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for showing up last night for Aiden Carney and for us. And we hope to see you here tonight if you're a member. And if you're not, we will see you. It's like, yeah, it's pretty cheap, actually. The lower membership, I think, is $2.99.
Cheap.
So, yeah. Hey, Winks.
Remember. Hey, Winks, and we'll see you tonight.
Oh, thanks, Caroline. Yeah, I do have an Amazon wish list too. And I, too, would love a Blackstone. There are other things.
Love it.
There are other things. I want a kayak. There's a kayak on there. That's about the same price as a Blackstone.
Love that for you. Hope you get a kayak.
I love you guys. Oh, thanks, guys. But one of the practical things that I actually do need, I want to say this actually. One of the practical things that I actually do need for this podcast and just don't have the money to throw at it right now is the G-RAID drive that I have, which is a storage device for media. Because so with this members only, the output that we have to do for the members only video streams, I do have to export and download every video that we do. And these videos are 2+ hours long, which means they take up 2 to 3 gigs sometimes or more of space every time I download one of them and then upload it. So I need a place to put all of this. And I'm running out of disk space on both my computer and my external hard drive. So if anybody is able to, I know they're kind of expensive, but I did put one on the Amazon wish list. I really could use a drive to store all of our media. So that's one thing I actually do need. So if you're able to, that would be amazing. I appreciate you. If not, like and share and subscribe, and we love you all the same. Anything else, Rebecca, before we hit the end stream button?
No. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this morning, Mel. It's always a pleasure to talk with you for a couple hours.
I love having you around, sister. I like doing this with you. I think we should do it for a long time.
And if I didn't get a chance to be dismissive of you at least once a day.
I know, right? Stop being such an asshole. Okay, love you. Bye.
Briscoe doesn't like that.